Strong safety extraordinaire, one of the hardest hitters in the history of the NFL, and former Stanford Cardinal John Lynch. John, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So talk to me a little bit about your time at Stanford. You were originally recruited as a quarterback, if that's correct.
Yeah, I was. I went up there as a two-sport athlete, playing football and baseball. And, I was the #2 quarterback from the day I walked on campus and just got frustrated. Baseball was going well, couldn't get on the field, so I went in there and asked to play on defense, and I guess the rest is history.
Now, talk to me a little bit about the role Coach Walsh had in your career and reviving your love of the game of football.
Well, you make a great point, because there was a little bump in the road. Denny Green was still coaching, and that year I moved over. And I guess in their mind I wasn't ready to play, and so I played about 30% of the snaps. I signed with the Florida Marlins, and that's where I was going. I was going to play baseball full-time, and Bill Walsh came in, and he saw something in me. And those snaps that I played, he watched every one of them. He put a tape together, called me in his office, and said, not only can you play for us, you can play as a Pro Bowl level safety in the NFL. Yeah, and if it wasn't Bill Walsh, I would have thought he was, trying to sell me a bill of goods. But he convinced me. I came back that year and had a great year, and really discovered that football was my passion.
Well, before we talk about your times in the Pro Bowl, I want to talk about a specific game at Stanford when you were down 16-0 against Notre Dame. You played concussed, and that's really what put you on the map as far as what NFL scouts were looking for. But tell me about that game. Tell me about that experience and what it did for you. Well,
it was a tremendous game. You think back to that Notre Dame team. That's one of the great college football teams of all time. I mean, they were loaded. I think they had 8 guys go in the first 2 rounds. We got down, but Coach Walsh did a tremendous job, and it's really, even through my 15 years, one of the great football games I ever played. Just kind of got in that zone and was able to make some plays. Our offense got hot, and 33 unanswered points, came back and beat them. It was fun.
Now, a lot of attributes at Stanford: baseball, football. You're part of the Delta Tau Delta fraternity. A lot of time management. Talk to me about being a student and just how you managed yourself throughout those busy times.
Yeah, I think that's what I knew. My parents believed if they kept us busy, we'd stay out of trouble, and so it's what I knew. And I remember days going and playing a spring football game, going and playing a baseball game, and then coming home and having to write a paper. And I think that discipline has served me well in life, and those were great times.
Now, discipline obviously is needed when you're going to become a Super Bowl champion, which you are with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as well as a 9-time Pro Bowler. But one of the Pro Bowls I want to ask you about was in 1993. Barry Sanders came up to you and said something very special. I'm curious, do you remember what that was?
Well, I was with Barry downstairs. He let me know that I got him as hard as he's ever been hit. And coming from Barry, that was something, because people ask me all the time, who's the best player I've ever played against? And, I think you got to go with the quarterbacks there, the likes of Peyton Manning, Elway, Montana. But when you're talking about just the best athlete that I ever played against, Barry Sanders, and it wasn't even close. We were all talking down there, Charles Haley and I mean, you couldn't touch him in a phone booth, a 2-hand touch. I mean, it was unbelievable. And so that was a fun experience.
And closing out here, you're recently inducted in the Stanford Hall of Fame. What did that mean to you after all these years?
Well, it was just a tremendous honor. I think people think of Stanford as a wonderful academic school, and that's what it is. But there's a tremendous athletic history there, and so to be included with the likes of a John Elway and the Tiger Woods of the world. I mean, it was a neat deal, and it was fun to take my kids back to the campus. That was such a special part of my life, and get to see what their dad used to do, and it was a really nice honor.
Family's really important to you. Just closing up here, talk to me a little bit about how your family's been behind you your entire career.
My wife, has been my best friend. She went to SC. She's a Trojan, so Pac-10 family, and she just was always there. And now we have 4 kids, and they were always so supportive, and that's what life's all about. So.
Beautiful. John Lynch, thanks for your time. Right, Brian Price, Pac-10.